Hey guys, my name's Lana and this is Jazz. We're going to be taking you for your Year 12 class on anxiety and arousal in sport. So sorry we can't be there today, we've got lots of uni commitments, but we hope you get something from our class today. So to begin with, how do you define anxiety and arousal, and especially in the sporting context? So in pairs, or just turn to the person next to you, we want you to talk about how you would define the terms anxiety and arousal in a sporting context. So we'll give you just about a minute to do that. So turn to the person next to you. Okay, so let's bring it back in, guys. In a normal sort of day, we'd be asking you about what you came up with, but hopefully you took some notes down from what you and your partner came up with in terms of how you would define these terms. So now we're just going to have a look at a quick video that really summarises quite well about how anxiety comes into sporting performance.
And how it really affects the body.
The mind and body are in constant dialogue with each other. For an athlete, this exchange is the basis for how they perform. However, anxiety or the fear of failing can often block this flow of information. When doubt and worry become too much, the body reacts. Sports science is now focused on the specific signals which affect performance and how athletes can overcome their fears.
Thoughts might be rushed. They might have difficulty making decisions. They might just be very fast and frantic in a lot of their thought processes.
They might also experience it in terms of more worry that's about kind of what they don't want to happen, or about who they're competing against, or what people might think about them. So it'd be the kind of repetitive, unhelpful thoughts going round and round their head.
Was world champs last year. I nearly broke in my 100 metres because I was just so overwhelmed and the anxiety was getting to me that I almost broke and fell out of my blocks, which I've never done before in any competition or in training.
You know, someone like Kelly, she'll be really anxious and nervous. I know that. But I need to be able to, we both together need to be able to channel that into her performance. If we can do that, we'll get a great result. If it starts to affect her negatively and she's thinking, why am I nervous? Why am I anxious? I've never felt like this before, then I'll be concerned.
Talking to people, like I said, talking to my coach before I step on the line and the night before helps me calm my nerves a little bit and reassures me that, you know, you're fine, you do this every day, to talk me through it. And I think there is a way that when you step on the line, just to focus on yourself and not everybody else around you, and, you know, only worry about the things that you can change and not the things that you can't.
An athlete responds to stressful situations in two ways.
Somatically, which is bodily, and cognitively, which is in their head. Anxiety in their body could be a matter of feeling nervous, feeling the jitters. They're so nervous that their muscles are very tense and they can't move fluidly.
The term choking is used when an athlete fails to perform, often in spectacular fashion. The degree to which an athlete experiences choking or anxiety depends on the individual.
And trait anxiety is when an individual has a sense of, a heightened sense of worry or tension generally in their life. It's part of who they are, part of their trait. Whereas the state anxiety is when an individual might have that heightened sense of worry in specific scenarios.
A combination of inherited and environmental factors will affect every athlete. Two important variables will determine how their performance will be influenced by anxiety. The importance of the situation to the individual and the uncertainty of the outcome of the situation.
And essentially what we try and train athletes to do is they may have worrying thoughts, they may feel tension in their body, but actually they still need to be able to deliver a performance. So they manage their physiology, so they might use breathing techniques, they might manage their worrying thoughts, so they might use something like mindfulness just to focus on themselves.
It might take an athlete many years to understand their anxiety and then use it to improve their own performance.
I think it's become a natural part of my game. I almost worry that if I don't get nervous, that's when alarm bells should go off. You've just got to monitor how nervous you get, and that's when your mental visualization, preparation, centering yourself all comes into play as well.
I have massive butterflies and I'm sweating, but then afterwards, like, it's just such a great feeling, so I don't mind getting butterflies for a great feeling afterwards.
Right, so we might stop that one there. So anxiety is what we're going to focus on first. So anxiety is a subjective feeling of apprehension accompanied by a heightened level of physiological arousal. So these are just some physical examples. Just think about what was mentioned in the video just then and how these images might match with some of the things that they spoke about. So we're not going to go through them, but I think you can probably see what some of them are. So arousal levels. If arousal levels are too high or too low, they can affect an athlete's performance. So low arousal, you're looking at inattention, low motivation, slow or inappropriate movement choices, and high arousal can deter coordination, narrow attention and distraction, and have a lack of flexibility. So all of these can be really detrimental if an arousal level is too high or too low for an athlete.
Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about how these can actually affect performance. Firstly, fear is a big one. So you're scared about what might happen, you're scared and you're fearful about what your possible performance will be. Okay, so when feeling overwhelmed with fear, the athlete might be unable to move, talk, or perform at all. Okay, unable to concentrate is a big one that is surrounded with anxiety and arousal. So it's caused by feelings of apprehension, which leads to the invasion of negative thoughts. Okay, so sweating is also a big one, and that can sweating that can really change the way your body is feeling, can make you overheat a bit. So I've got racing the heart, so it's related to panic as well. Shortness of breath, and that can deprive the brain of actually functioning properly because there's not enough oxygen going to the brain. Okay, so I'm just talking about the vicious cycle. So first you start off with high anxiety levels. So this could be before you actually perform. Like I said, a few of the detriments that happen to your body can be happening, slowly progressing. And then, so that leads to tension, which produces a disruption in skill development. Okay, and then that leads to an increased number of errors. And then going into being distracted by internal and external thoughts. So doing errors in your performance can really, change the way that you're thinking, and it can really affect how you go from there. And then you start to think negative thought patterns. You're starting to put yourself down a bit. And then again, that leads to more errors. So if you're thinking you're not going to achieve, you probably won't. Okay, so, and then that goes to more anxiety levels. So this is the cycle that we're talking about and how to break or maintain it. So it's about trying to control your thoughts and being in that good mind space before, during and after your performance. So what are some positive ways to overcome it or positively handle it? Firstly, distract yourself. These are just a few that I've come up with that I've researched, and I've found these are main points. So distract yourself. So take your mind away from the game. Visualize what you're going to do in the game and visualize your success. So breathing that goes right through your body. Concentrate on your breathing. Know the environment so it isn't unfamiliar when you do walk out to perform. Communicate with your teammates and be clear about your intentions. That is a big one, and that also relates to goal setting. Focus on what you can control, okay? So what things you can control is your mindset. Things you can't control is the environment, the audience, the distractions that might come with that. So just think about stuff you can control. Do what makes you feel comfortable. This is different for every person. So maybe listening to music, different strategies to make you feel more at ease, and I will go through that in the next slide. Meditation and guided imagery is seen to be a real big success. So it's just getting you in tune with your thoughts. And strive for mental toughness. This is a big one that I've found a lot of professional athletes, they strive to accomplish this through the ability to cope under pressure, desire, self-confidence, motivation and resilience. So they are big keys into really that mental toughness and mental mindset. So now I'm just going to quickly talk about how do some professional athletes handle it. Okay, so like I said, everyone handles it different. These are just a few professional athletes that I thought you might be familiar with. First of all, we got Nick Kyrgios. Everyone knows Nick Kyrgios. He's got his deadly pink headphones on. Yeah, so he's obviously calming himself before a big game. He's listening to music, getting in his zone. Alright, we got Michelle Janicki, and she is a sprinter or hurdler? Hurdler, yeah. So, I don't know, everyone might have seen this. She does a little dance before she starts competing, starts the race, and so yeah, that's just a photo of her bopping around and getting in her zone. We got Mick Fanning here, of course, the surfer. He's really into his meditation and getting in tune with his thoughts before he goes out for a big surf. And just another one which is quite similar to Michelle, we've got Anastasia. She is listening to music and dancing at the same time. So, and she's doing that oblivious of the crowd behind her. She is just in her zone, just at the waterfront, ready to get into those waves and getting really calm in her mindset.
We've got a bit of time up our sleeve for a bit of discussion here as well. So maybe since Jazz has covered a few great examples of, I guess, sort of celebrity athletes, you could call them, and how they adapt to their anxiety and arousal levels, perhaps to the person next to you, again, you could have a chat about what you do, because I know you all would have to have played some sort of club sport, might even have some state representatives. If not, you would have to do practicals at school. So maybe just turn to the person next to you and talk about how you overcome anxiety and arousal in your sporting context. We'll give you about a minute.
And through that, I really want you to visualise you before you perform. So what is your mind doing? What are you thinking? Ways to really get that success happening. I want you to bring it back in. And now I want to lead on to another athlete, and this is, of course, the Michael Jordan. And this is how he deals with his mental preparation before a big game. So maybe pinpoint some of the things that you were thinking that are a bit similar, because he does a few strategies which he does mention in this video. So maybe just keep in the back of your head some things that he does that might help you as well.
My mental preparations for the game are very different than most. I try to relax myself. I'm a jokester, a prankster, if you want to say it that way. I listen to music, I joke around with the guys, I take my whole mind away from the game itself, and then when the time comes to focus on the game, I focus on my athletic skills and putting it together with the team, and somehow collectively going out and doing our jobs each and every day. I challenge myself to be the best basketball player every moment that I'm playing the game of basketball. And sometimes that means tricking yourself in your mind to say that you can't do this, or your weaknesses are here, but yet you still try to work on improving those weaknesses. A lot of people may say, well, Michael Jordan never had weaknesses. Michael Jordan had weaknesses. He just had to dig deep inside himself to figure out what they were and challenge himself to improve those weaknesses. So mentally, I like to challenge myself to go out and play a perfect basketball game. Although I know you can't do that. It's practically impossible to play a perfect game, but that doesn't mean you can't challenge yourself to do that.
Alright, just quickly, Michael Jordan, he did say a few points there, so he uses humour, he's a prankster before games, and one of the big things he does is he challenges himself in his mind, so he pinpoints his weaknesses and then challenges his brain to sort of overcome that. So you can't do this, and you're sort of proving yourself that you can. Okay? So I thought that was really good strategies that he used. And just finishing up here, I've got a picture of Roger Federer. He is a good example of how he copes with his anxiety levels or arousal levels, and he feels that under pressure he can see things very clear, and I think that is a big goal for everyone who is performing at any athlete performance or any sport or anything. Okay, so I think that's wrapped us up.
Yeah, a couple take-home messages. So thinking about the definitions of anxiety and arousal, what low arousal, what high arousal is, and how they can implement performance, what the, I guess, physical and mental outcomes and effects are of those, and also covering the strategies that famous sports people use to overcome them, and how you can adapt that into maybe your sporting plans, into maybe fitness plans and stuff that you're writing in class. You'll be talking about anxiety and arousal and how you will optimally, as a coach, help your player to succeed.
And just one more point, we wish you all the best with Year 12. You've got a tough year ahead of you, but it's all good fun, and I'm sure you will all do really well. So good luck with that. Thank you.